Right then, lads and lasses, welcome back to another absolute treat of a video. Today, we are diving deep into the absolute digital wilderness. We are looking at something rather special, rather peculiar, a proper internet phenomenon. Yes, we are talking about Roblox. But not just any old Roblox game. Oh no, we are talking about the granddaddy of mindless fun. The one, the only, Merge vs Mobs 3. Now, if you have been living under a massive rock down in Devon, you might not know what this is. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine a game where you click things. Then you click more things. Then you smash those things together to make a bigger thing. And then that bigger thing goes out to smash some other things. It is beautiful in its simplicity. It is terrifying in its addictive nature. It is a proper British Sunday afternoon kind of game. Nothing too strenuous for the old brain cells. Just pure, unadulterated, digital chaos. Let us start from the very beginning. You pop into the game server. What do you see? A massive grid, a completely blank slate. You look at it and you think, right, what is the plan here then? The plan is simple, mate. You have got a button. You press that button. A tiny, blocky creature appears on your screen. It is level 1. It looks completely harmless. It looks like a wet cardboard box with eyes. It stands there, staring at you. It is practically begging for a purpose. So, what do? You buy another one. Now you have 2 level 1 creatures. They are both staring at you. They look like absolute muppets. This is where the magic happens. This is where your inner mad scientist comes alive. You click on one, you drag it over to the other, and boom, they merge. They fuse together in a flash of bright light. It is like a budget version of Dragon Ball Z suddenly. You do not have 2 level 1 Muppets anymore. Oh no, you are now the proud owner of a level 2 creature. It is slightly bigger. It looks a tiny bit more aggressive. It might even have a little hat or a tiny wooden sword. You look at it and you feel a wave of pride. You think to yourself, blooming heck, I made that. I am a genius. But the game does not let you rest on your laurels. Not a chance. The game whispers in your ear. It says, what about level 3? What about level 4? What about level 100? And just like that, the trap is sprung. You are hooked. You are completely and utterly trapped in the cycle. You start clicking like an absolute madman. Your mouse is clicking so fast it sounds like a machine gun down the local shooting range. You are spawning level 1s. You are merging them into level 2s. You are merging those level 2s into level 3s. It is a proper factory line. It is Henry Ford's dream, but with blocky Roblox monsters. Let us talk about the rhythm of this game. It is not a sprint, lads. It is a marathon, a very slow, methodical marathon. You cannot rush perfection. Every single merge requires patience. It requires a steady hand and a calm mind. The pacing is beautiful. It is like a slow sip of a warm cuppa on a rainy Tuesday morning in Manchester. You do not rush the tea. You do not rush the merge. You sit back in your gaming chair. You take a deep breath. You click. You drag. You watch the numbers go up. It is therapeutic. Really, it is the ultimate antidote to modern life. Forget yoga. Forget meditation. Just merge some blocky mobs on Roblox. It is much cheaper and far more satisfying. But wait, there is a whole other side to this madness. These mobs do not just sit on your grid looking pretty. No, siree, they have a job to do. They have to earn their keep. On the other side of your screen, there is a battlefield, a dark, dangerous arena, and out of the shadows come the enemies. The bad guys, the mobs that want to ruin your day. They start marching toward your base. They look mean, they look angry, they look like they want to smash your lovely grid to pieces. This is where you send in the troops. You select your highest level creations. You send them marching into the fray. It is an absolute spectacle. You watch your level 5 mega beast charge into battle against a wave of angry green goblins. The combat is pure chaos. It is a proper scrap. There are blocky limbs flying everywhere. There are health bars draining. There are particle effects flashing across the screen like a fireworks display at the local park. It is magnificent. You are standing there like a proud football manager on the touchline. You are shouting words of encouragement to your blocky lads. Get stuck in, son, smash him. And when your mobs win, blimey, the rewards are glorious. You get coins, you get gems, you get that lovely, shiny virtual currency. And what do you do with that currency? Do you save it for a rainy day? Do you put it in a virtual ISA? Do you invest in digital real estate? Do you bollocks? You spend it immediately. You run right back to that spawn button. You buy more level 1s. You start the whole glorious cycle all over again. The numbers must grow. The grid must be filled. The empire must expand. It is an obsession, plain and simple. Now, let us chat about the actual title we are reviewing today. Merge vs Mobs 3, the third installment, the trilogy closer, the return of the king of merge games. You might ask yourself, what makes this one different from the first two? Is it a revolutionary leap forward in gaming technology? Does it utilize Unreal Engine 5 with ray tracing and photorealistic textures? Does it have a deep, emotional narrative that will make you weep into your tea? Don't be daft, it is more of the same, but bigger, louder, and much more mental. The developers have clearly looked at the previous games and thought, how can we make this even more ridiculous? The answer was simple: more mobs, bigger merges, wilder abilities, and of course, more ways to spend your hard-earned Robux. They have added tiers of creatures that defy all logic. You start with basic zombies and skeletons. Standard stuff. But before you know it, you are merging cosmic dragons with cybernetic neon warriors. It is an absolute circus. It makes no sense whatsoever. And that is exactly why it is brilliant. It does not take itself seriously. It is just pure, unadulterated fun. Let us discuss the visuals for a moment. This is classic Roblox aesthetic. It is blocky, it is bright, it is colorful. It looks like someone dropped a massive box of Lego onto a neon dance floor. Some people might look at it and say it looks a bit rubbish. They might complain about the lack of high-fidelity graphics. They might say it looks like a game from 20 years ago. To those people, I say, you are missing the point. Mate, the simplicity is the charm. The blocky nature of the models means the game runs smooth as butter. Even when there are 500 entities on screen causing absolute carnage. It is optimized for maximum madness. Your computer won't explode into a ball of fire when things get intense. And that is a proper win in my book. The sound design is another masterpiece of repetition. You have got the classic clicking sounds. Click, click, click. It is a sound that will eventually embed itself into your subconscious. You will hear it in your dreams. You will hear it when you are walking down the high street. Click, click, click. Then you have got the merge sound. A satisfying little pop, or a magical chime that triggers a tiny release of dopamine in your brain. It is digital bubble wrap. You cannot stop popping it. And the background music, oh, the music. It is a cheerful, repetitive loop that repeats every 30 seconds. It is the kind of tune that drives you absolutely mental if you listen to it for too long. Yet you find yourself humming it while you are making a bacon sandwich. It is proper psychological warfare, but in a fun way. Let us talk about the upgrades. This is where the game gets its depth. You are not just merging blindly. You have got to be strategic. You have got a whole upgrade shop to explore. You can increase your spawn speed. You can increase your maximum grid size. You can upgrade the starting level of your spawned mobs. Imagine that. Instead of starting with a useless level 1 Muppet, you can upgrade your shop so you spawn level 5 warriors right out of the gate. That is the dream, lads. That is when you know you have made it in life. You feel like a proper corporate tycoon. You are skipping the manual labor and going straight to the top tier stuff. But it takes time to get there. It takes a lot of grinding. You have to watch your mobs fight hundreds of battles. You have to clear zone after zone. Every new zone brings tougher enemies. It brings bigger challenges. It brings a change of scenery, which is nice. You move from the basic green meadow to a spooky desert, then to a fiery volcanic wasteland, and eventually into deep space. Each zone feels like a milestone. It is like passing your driving test or getting a promotion at work. You stand in the new zone, look around, and think, yes, I have arrived. I am the king of this blocky castle. Of course, we cannot talk about a Roblox simulator without addressing the massive elephant in the room. The game passes, the microtransactions, the pay-to-win elements. Oh boy, this game is absolutely packed with them. The developers are proper cheeky lads. Let me tell you, everywhere you look, there is a shiny button tempting you to spend your Robux. Want to merge twice as fast? That will be 500 Robux. Please, want a super duper, ultra rare, overpowered cosmic ninja mob that can one-shot every enemy in the game? Just hand over your credit card. Mate. You can buy upgrades that are absolutely broken. Upgrades that completely ruin the balance of the game. If you have a fat wallet and a lack of patience, you can become an unstoppable god within 5 minutes. You can buy game passes that automate the entire process. The game will literally spawn the mobs for you, merge them for you, and fight the battles for you. You do not even have to play the bloody game anymore. You just sit there and watch the game play itself. It is fascinating, really. It is the ultimate expression of modern gaming. Paying money so you do not have to play the game you just downloaded. It is absolute codswallop, but people love it. They eat it up. But here is the real kicker. You do not actually need to spend a single penny. You do not need to buy those crazy game passes to have a proper good time. If you have got the grit, the determination, and a sturdy index finger, you can achieve greatness through pure hard work. The free-to-play grind is real, but it is incredibly rewarding. When you finally unlock that max-tier mob after hours of careful merging and strategic planning, the feeling of satisfaction is unmatched. You did not buy your way to the top. You earned it. You built an army with nothing but your bare hands and a mouse. That is true gaming prestige right there. Let us look at how the community handles this game. The Roblox community is a wild place. When you join a public server in Merge Fees Mobs 3, you are surrounded by all sorts of characters. You have got the absolute sweat lords who have been grinding for 3 days straight without sleeping. They have got armies of glowing, flashing, god-tier monsters that take up the whole screen. They stand there in their fancy avatars, looking down on everyone else. Then you have got the complete noobs who have just spawned their first level 1 zombie. They are running around in circles, completely confused, asking people for free stuff in the chat. It is a beautiful social experiment. It is like a busy Saturday market in a bustling town center, but with more virtual swords and neon caps. The interactions in the chat are always comedy gold. You will see kids arguing about which mob is better. You will see people flexing their trillions of coins. You will see players begging the top-tier guys to help them clear a difficult boss wave. It adds a lovely layer of community spirit to what is essentially a solo grinding game. You do not feel alone in your madness. You are part of a grand collective of clickers. You are all sharing the same digital struggle. You are all chasing the same carrot on a stick. Let us talk about the bosses. Every few waves, the game decides to throw a proper spanner in the works. The music changes, the screen shakes, a massive notification pops up. Boss alert, and then, out steps a giant monstrosity. This is not your average grunt. This is a massive, beefed up version of an enemy, with a health bar that looks like it belongs in a Dark Souls game. It is a proper test of your army's strength. If your army is a bit rubbish, the boss will walk through them like a hot knife through butter. It will smash your lads into digital dust and send you packing back to the drawing board. But if you have prepared well, if you have spent time optimizing your merges and investing in upgrades, the boss fight is a glorious spectacle. Your army surrounds the giant beast. They unleash all their special abilities. There are lasers, explosions, magical spells, and sword strikes hitting the boss from every angle. It is a proper cinematic masterpiece. Roblox style. The health bar chips away slowly, agonizingly. Your heart rate goes up a bit. Come on, lads, just a little bit more. And then, with one final blow, the boss explodes into a massive shower of loot. The screen lights up with fireworks. The victory fanfare plays. You have done it. You have conquered the beast. It is a proper moment of triumph. You feel like a champion. You want to celebrate with a nice cold pint down the pub. But a glass of squash will have to do. After the boss is defeated, you get access to the next area. This is where the whole loop resets. But with higher stakes, the prices in the shop go up. The enemies get tougher. The mergers require even more tiers. It is a classic progression ladder. It keeps you moving forward, always searching for the next milestone. Some people might find this repetitive. They might say, well, you are just doing the same thing over and over again in a different colored room. And they would be right. It is repetitive. It is a grind, but it is a loop that works. It taps into that primal human desire to see things grow, to see progress, to see numbers get bigger. It is satisfying on a very basic level. Let us examine the balance of the game. In a game like this, balance is everything. If the progression is too fast, you get bored quickly. If it is too slow, you get frustrated and quit. The developers of Merge Fees Mobs 3 have hit a rather sweet spot. To be fair, the early game is fast and punchy. You get that instant gratification. You are unlocking new stuff every few minutes. As you progress into the mid-game, things slow down. You have to work a bit harder for your upgrades. You have to start thinking about which mobs to keep and which to sacrifice. It requires a tiny bit of brainpower, which keeps it engaging. The end game is a massive mountain to climb, designed for the truly dedicated players. It is a well-structured journey that respects your time, provided you enjoy this type of game. What about the replayability? Once you have unlocked the best mob, cleared every zone, and defeated every boss, is that it? Is the game done? Not quite, mate. That is where the rebirth mechanic comes into play. The classic simulator rebirth. It is a beautiful and terrifying thing. You click a button, and the game offers you a deal. It says, give us everything. Give us all your coins. Give us all your zones. Give us your glorious army that you spent hours building. Reset yourself back to an absolute nobody. Back to level 1. Back to a blank grid. In return, we will give you a permanent multiplier, a shiny badge, a slight boost to your stats that makes your next journey much faster. It is a proper devil's bargain. You look at your beautiful army, the culmination of all your hard work, and you think, do I really want to destroy all of this? You hesitate, you think about it, but the lure of the multiplier is too strong. You want to be even more overpowered next time. So, you take a deep breath. You say goodbye to your blocky children, and you press the button. Smash! You are back at the beginning. Back to a single level 1 zombie. But you are stronger now. You are faster. You are ready to conquer the world all over again. It is a cycle of life, death, and rebirth, played out in a Roblox simulator. It is deep, really, if you think about it too much, which you probably shouldn't. Let us compare Merge Fees Mobs 3 to other titles on the platform. Roblox is absolutely flooded with simulator and tycoon games. There are thousands of them. Most of them are absolute rubbish. To be completely honest, they are lazy asset flips designed to trick kids into spending their parents' money. They have no soul, no charm, no actual gameplay. So, where does Merge Fees Mobs 3 sit in this sea of mediocrity? It actually sits quite near the top. It is well made. The UI is clean and easy to understand. The mechanics are smooth. It has a clear sense of identity. It takes a classic mobile gaming genre, the Merge game, and translates it into a 3D multiplayer experience beautifully. It is not trying to be a cinematic masterpiece like Blox Fruits or a highly competitive game like Bed Wars. It knows exactly what it is, and it does it well. It is high-quality junk food gaming. It is a bag of chips after a night out. It might not be a Michelin-starred meal, but it hits the spot perfectly. Now, let us imagine we are playing this game right now. Let us do a little walkthrough of a typical gaming session, just to give you a proper feel for the pacing and the vibe. You log in, you sit down, you have got your cup of tea next to your keyboard. It is a nice, warm brew, perfect temperature. You take a sip. Lovely. Now, back to the grid. You have got about half your grid filled with miscellaneous mobs. It is a bit of a shambles. To be honest, you need to tidy it up. You need to get organized. You start scanning the grid like a hawk. You spot 2 level 8 rock monsters hiding in the corner. Right, come here. You two. You click. You drag. You smash them together. Boom. Level 9 lava golem unlocked. Splendid. Then you notice you have a bunch of low-level clutter taking up valuable space. You have got some level 3 skeletons and level 4 archers just sitting there doing nothing. They are cluttering up the joint. You cannot have that. Efficiency is the name of the game. You start a massive clearing operation. You merge them up, clear the space, and open up room for the big boys. It is like cleaning your room, but actually fun. It gives you a great sense of order and control. You look at your newly organized grid and you feel a deep sense of satisfaction. Everything is in its right place. It is proper tidy. With your grid sorted, you look over at the battle arena. Your current army is fighting a wave of mechanical spiders. The spiders are tough, mate. They have got high defense. Your lads are struggling a bit. The battle line is holding, but it is a close one. You can see the health bars fluctuating. This is where you need to step in and provide some reinforcements. You take your brand new level 9 lava golem and you drop it right into the middle of the fighting pit. Blimey, what a difference it makes. The lava golem starts smashing things left, right, and center. It is unleashing fireballs and stomping on the mechanical spiders. The tide of battle turns instantly. Your army pushes forward. The spiders are obliterated. The victory screen pops up. Coins rain down from the sky. It is a beautiful sight. You take another sip of your tea. Life is good. You use your new coins to buy a massive batch of eggs or spawners from the shop. You spam the button. Click, 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 click. The grid fills up instantly. It is a chaotic mess of colors and shapes. Now comes the grand merging session. This is the most relaxing part of the game. You do not have to think. You just let your muscle memory take over. Match the 2s, match the 3s, match the 4s. Your hands are moving automatically. It is rhythmic. It is hypnotic. You fall into a trance. The outside world disappears. The rain outside your window does not matter anymore. The bills you have to pay do not matter anymore. The only thing that exists is the grid and the next merge. It is pure escapism. It is why we love gaming. Isn't it? It is a little break from reality. A chance to be the master of a tiny, digital universe. Let us think about the target audience for a game like this. Obviously, it is aimed primarily at younger players. It is bright, simple, and gives constant rewards. Kids love that stuff. They have got the patience for the grind and the desire for the colorful progression. But you know what? It has a strange appeal for older gamers too, if they are honest with themselves. Sometimes, after a long, stressful day at work or university, you do not want to play a game that requires maximum focus. You do not want to sweat your eyes out in a highly competitive first-person shooter where a teenager calls you rude names in the chat. You do not want to navigate a complex, 40-hour RPG with a million different mechanics and a confusing storyline. Sometimes, you just want to turn your brain off completely. You want to sit down, look at some colorful shapes, and watch numbers get bigger. Merge vs Mobs 3 is perfect for that. It is the ultimate casual relaxation game. It is gaming comfort food. Let us talk about the developers for a bit. They deserve a little shout out. Managing a successful Roblox game is not an easy job. The community is demanding. They want constant updates. They want new content every single week. If the developers go quiet for more than a fortnight, the player count drops like a stone. The team behind Merge vs Mobs 3 has done a cracking job of keeping the game alive and kicking. They are constantly releasing patches, adding new events, and introducing limited edition mobs. They listen to feedback from the players, which is quite rare in the Roblox world. Let me tell you, they fix bugs quickly and keep the game running smooth. It shows that they actually care about their creation. It is not just a cynical cash grab. It is a well-maintained project that values its community, and that is worth celebrating. Now, every game has its flaws, and Merge vs Mobs 3 is no exception. Let us be fair and balanced here. We cannot just praise it without pointing out the bits that are a bit rubbish. The main issue, as mentioned before, is the heavy reliance on microtransactions. If you do not spend money, progress can feel painfully slow in the later stages. It can start to feel less like a fun game and more like a second job. You find yourself doing the same exact task for hours just to make a tiny bit of progress. That can be a proper grind, and not everyone has the stomach for it. Another minor issue is the occasional lag when the server is full of players who all have massive armies. The screen can become a complete slideshow of flashing lights, which is not ideal for the old eyes. It can be a bit overwhelming. To be honest, it is a sensory overload that might make you want to lie down in a dark room for an hour. But despite these flaws, the game still manages to be incredibly charming. It has a certain quality that keeps you coming back for more. It is the digital equivalent of a packet of biscuits. You tell yourself you are only going to have one, but before you know it, you have eaten the whole packet and you are covered in crumbs. You tell yourself you are only going to play Merge Fees Mobs 3 for 10 minutes. Just to see what the new update is about. Next thing you know, it is 3 o'clock in the morning. Your tea is stone cold, and you are desperately trying to merge 2 cosmic penguins to unlock a cyber squid. It is absolute madness, but it is a wonderful kind of madness. So, what is the final verdict on Merge Fees Mobs 3? If you are looking for a deep, meaningful gaming experience that will change your perspective on life, look elsewhere, mate. This is not it. This is not art. This is entertainment in its purest, most basic form. It is a game that is proud to be a silly, addictive simulator. It does not pretend to be anything else. It is well made, it is fun, and it is completely free to play if you have the patience. It is a proper laugh, especially if you play it with some friends while having a chat. It is a great way to kill an hour or 2 on a lazy weekend. I give it a solid rating. It is a proper good time. It gets a big thumbs up from me. If you haven't tried it yet, go pop into Roblox and give it a look. Just be careful with your wallet. Lads, do not go spending all your hard-earned cash on those shiny game passes unless you really want to. Enjoy the grind, embrace the chaos, fill that grid, and most importantly, have a proper cracking time. That is what gaming is all about, after all. Now, let us expand on this review. Let us go deeper into the lore of the mobs. Yes, you heard me right, the lore. You might think a game about merging blocky creatures does not have any lore. You might think it is just random models thrown together. But if you look closely, if you use your imagination, you can see a story unfolding. Look at the progression of the creatures. You start with the humble level 1 zombie. It is green. It is slow. It is pathetic. It represents the absolute bottom of the food chain. It is a creature with no hope, no ambition, no future. It is just a placeholder. But when you merge 2 zombies, they do not just become a bigger zombie. They transform. They evolve into a skeleton warrior. Now, that is an upgrade. The skeleton has discarded its useless flesh. It has embraced the structural integrity of bone. It has picked up a weapon. It has a purpose now. It is a soldier in your growing army. It is a step up the evolutionary ladder. This tells a story of survival, of transformation, of overcoming limitations. It is a beautiful metaphor for human growth, isn't it? We start out as useless level 1 zombies in life, stumbling around in the dark, making mistakes, but through hard work, through merging experiences, through learning and growing, we upgrade ourselves. We become skeleton warriors. We equip ourselves with skills and knowledge to face the challenges of the world. It is quite profound, really. Or maybe I have just been staring at this grid for far too long and my brain has completely turned to mush. It is highly likely the latter. To be perfectly honest. Let us look at the next tier of evolution. The skeleton warrior merges to become an orc grunt. Now we are getting into serious territory. The orc is green, muscular, and looks proper angry. It has left the skeletal simplicity behind and gained raw power. It carries a massive club. It is built for war. This represents the phase in life where raw ambition takes over. You have got the skills, and now you want to make an impact. You want to smash through obstacles. You want to conquer your goals. The orc grunt does not think. It does not plan. It just smashes. It is a force of nature on your grid. It is the muscle of your operation. And after the orc, the knight, the protector, the defender of the realm, clad in shiny silver armor, holding a glorious sword. This is the refinement of power. The knight is disciplined. The knight has honor. The knight represents the peak of conventional warfare. It is a beautiful model, standing proud on your grid, ready to defend your digital kingdom. You look at your army of knights and you feel secure. You think, nothing can touch me now. I am completely safe. My fortress is impregnable. But then, the game throws a curveball. The next evolution moves away from the physical realm entirely. It enters the world of magic. The knights merge to become wizards. This is a massive shift in strategy. Suddenly, you are not dealing with physical swords and shields anymore. You are dealing with the arcane arts. The wizard wears a long purple robe and a pointy hat. It holds a staff that glows with magical energy. In battle, it stays at the back, launching devastating spells into the enemy ranks. This represents the ultimate triumph of mind over matter. It shows that intellect and knowledge are far more powerful than raw physical strength. It is a wonderful design choice by the developers. It keeps the progression interesting and unpredictable. The magic tier continues to evolve. The wizards merge into elemental spirits, fire spirits, ice spirits, lightning spirits. These creatures are no longer human or humanoid. They are pure energy. They are manifestations of the natural elements. They float above the grid, crackling with power. Their attacks are spectacular, filling the screen with blizzards, infernos, and thunderbolts. It is a visual treat. Lads, it makes you feel like an absolute god, controlling the forces of nature with a single click of your mouse. You are no longer just a player. You are a cosmic entity, shaping the destiny of the virtual universe. And it goes even further. The elementals merge into dragons, the ultimate mythical beasts, the apex predators of fantasy fiction. Huge, blocky dragons that take up multiple squares on your grid. They breathe fire. They fly across the battlefield. They decimate entire waves of enemies single-handedly. When you unlock your first dragon, it is a momentous occasion. It is a milestone that deserves a proper celebration. You want to call your mum and tell her about it. Mum, look, I got a dragon on Roblox. She would probably tell you to grow up and get a real job. But she just does not understand the artistic value of a blocky dragon. Does she? No one understands the struggle of the merge. The progression does not stop at fantasy. Oh no, the developers decided that fantasy was not big enough. They needed to go sci-fi. The dragons merge into cybernetic behemoths. Giant robots with laser cannons and plasma shields. Mechs that look like they stepped out of a big-budget Hollywood movie. It is an absolute mashup of genres. You have got magic wizards fighting alongside sci-fi mechs against waves of mechanical spiders and alien invaders. It is a complete and utter mess of ideas. And it is absolutely magnificent. It is the kind of creative freedom that you only get in a place like Roblox. No mainstream game studio would ever make a game this ridiculous. They would be too worried about realism, about consistency, about logic. But Roblox developers do not care about any of that rubbish. They just want to make things that look cool and feel satisfying to play. And God bless them for it. Let us talk about the management aspect of the game. As your grid grows, you have to become a proper manager. You have to allocate your resources wisely. Space is limited, mate. You only have a certain number of slots on your grid. If your grid is full, you cannot spawn any more mobs. You are stuck. You are at a standstill. So, you have to constantly decide which mobs to prioritize. Do you keep a bunch of medium-level mobs to maintain a steady army? Or do you sacrifice them all to create one super high-level beast? It is a proper tactical dilemma. It requires foresight and planning. If you make the wrong choice, if you merge all your defenders into one giant creature, you might leave your base vulnerable to a sudden wave of fast enemies. The giant beast can only attack one target at a time, while a swarm of small enemies can slip past and ruin your day. It is a classic quality versus quantity argument. There is no right answer. It depends on your playstyle, the current wave, and the layout of the zone. It adds a lovely bit of depth to an otherwise simple game. Let us ponder the psychological impact of the pop sound when merging. It is a fascinating piece of game design. Sound effects in video games are incredibly important. Far more important than most people realize. A good sound effect can make a mediocre action feel amazing, while a bad sound effect can ruin a brilliant mechanic. The merge sound in Merge Fees Mobs 3 is an absolute masterpiece. It is short, crisp, and incredibly clean. It has a high pitch that triggers a little spark of joy in your brain. It is the exact same principle that slot machines use in casinos. They use specific lights and sounds to make your brain feel good. Even when you are losing money. The developers of this game have used that same psychology to make the act of clicking and dragging feel completely intoxicating. You do it once, you hear the pop and your brain says, "Yes, please, do that again," and so you do, over and over again, for hours. It is brilliant design, but it is also a bit terrifying when you realize how easily our brains can be manipulated by a tiny digital sound effect. Let us discuss the community events. Every now and then, the developers drop a massive event into the game. For example, a holiday event like Christmas or Halloween. These events are proper brilliant. Let me tell you, they completely transform the game for a limited time. The main hub gets a festive makeover, with snow on the ground or pumpkins scattered everywhere. The music changes to a festive variation that is equally catchy and equally maddening. But the best part of the events is the limited edition mobs. These are special creatures that you can only unlock during the event. They have unique designs, special abilities, and they are usually incredibly overpowered. The rush to unlock these event mobs creates a proper frenzy in the community. Everyone is grinding like mad before the event ends. The chat goes completely wild with people trading event items or boasting about their rare pulls. It injects a massive burst of excitement into the game and brings back older players who might have taken a break. It is a fantastic way to keep the game fresh and relevant. It gives people a reason to log in every day and keeps the hype train rolling. The developers know exactly how to manage their player base, and these events are a key part of their strategy. Let us talk about the different strategies you can employ in the game. While it might look like a game of pure luck and mindless clicking, there are actually distinct ways to approach it. Some players prefer the swarm strategy. They do not bother merging their mobs to the absolute maximum level. Instead, they fill their entire grid and battlefield with a massive army of mid-tier creatures. They overwhelm the enemy with sheer numbers. It is a sight to behold. A massive wall of blocky soldiers marching forward, drowning the enemies in a sea of attacks. This strategy is great for clearing large waves of weak grunts quickly. It is efficient, it is visually impressive, and it makes you feel like a proper general commanding a massive army. On the other hand, you have the apex strategy. These players do the exact opposite. They focus all their resources on creating one or two absolute monstrosities. They keep the grid clean and tidy, focusing purely on upgrading their top-tier creatures to the absolute limit. When they go into battle, they send out just one single, massive god-tier beast. It walks onto the battlefield like an absolute boss, ignoring the attacks of the tiny grunts, and unleashes a single devastating strike that clears the entire screen. This strategy is incredibly satisfying, but it comes with risks. If that single beast gets stunned or overwhelmed by a specific enemy mechanic, your entire defense crumbles. It is a high-risk, high-reward approach that requires confidence and a very strong army. Then you have the balanced approach, which is what most sensible people do. A solid front line of heavy tanks to soak up the damage, backed up by a row of high-damage ranged units and wizards to rain destruction from afar. And maybe a few fast assassins to clean up any stragglers. It is like building a proper fantasy RPG party, but on a massive scale. This approach is the safest and most reliable way to progress through the tougher zones. It allows you to handle whatever curveball the game decides to throw at you. It shows that beneath the simple exterior, there is room for actual tactical expression. You can play the game your way, and that is a hallmark of good game design. Let us take a moment to appreciate the sheer variety of zones in Merge Fees Mobs 3. The game takes you on a proper grand tour of different environments. You start in the standard green grassland, which is the default setting for every Roblox game ever made. It is nice, it is pleasant, it is safe, but soon, you move on to the desert zone. The ground turns to sand, the trees become cacti, and the enemies change into mummies and giant scorpions. The atmosphere feels hotter, drier, more hostile. It is a nice change of pace. After the desert, you plunge into the spooky forest. The lighting dims, the trees look dead and twisted. and a thick fog rolls across the ground. The enemies here are ghosts, vampires, and witches. The music gets a bit eerie, with spooky organ sounds and mysterious whispers. It is a proper atmospheric treat, especially if you are playing late at night in a dark room. It shows that the developers have put real effort into creating distinct moods for each area. They did not just change the color of the grass, they changed the whole vibe of the game. Then you reach the Ice Kingdom. Everything is covered in snow and ice. The ground is slippery, the air looks freezing, and your mobs are fighting frost giants and ice dragons. The particle effects here are lovely, with tiny snowflakes falling from the sky and glowing ice crystals scattered around the map. It feels crisp, cold, and epic. It is a fantastic zone that makes you want to wrap up warm and grab a hot chocolate. Next up is the volcanic wasteland, a complete contrast to the Ice Kingdom. The ground is black rock. Rivers of glowing red lava flow through the landscape, and giant volcanoes smoke in the background. The enemies are fire demons and lava monsters. It looks incredibly dangerous and metal. The screen is filled with fiery explosions and glowing embers. It is intense, it is chaotic, and it feels like the ultimate challenge. But it is not the end. Oh no, the final frontier awaits. The space station. You blast off into orbit. The background is a stunning view of deep space, with stars, galaxies, and planets floating in the void. The ground is made of futuristic metal plates and glowing neon paths. The enemies are cybernetic aliens, rogue robots, and space pirates. Your mobs are now laser-wielding cosmic warriors. It is a magnificent conclusion to the journey. It takes the game to a whole new level of ridiculousness and spectacle. It is a proper epic adventure, wrapped up in a casual Roblox simulator. Let us talk about the leaderboard system. This is what drives the absolute hardcore players. In the main hub, there is a massive, glowing leaderboard that displays the top players in the world. It shows their names, their avatars, and their stats. Some of these players have numbers that defy human comprehension. Trillions of coins, millions of merges, rebirth scores in the thousands. It is absolutely mind-boggling. You look at these names and you think, who are these people? How many hours have they spent clicking that button? Do they ever go outside? Do they know what rain feels like? The leaderboard creates a proper competitive drive. It is a digital hall of fame. Every player wants to see their name up there, even if it is just for a fleeting moment. It gives you a long-term goal to strive for. You know you will probably never catch the absolute top guys, who are probably playing 24 hours a day on multiple accounts. But you can try to climb into the top 10%, or beat your friends' scores. It adds a lovely bit of friendly rivalry to the community. You can look at your mate's army, look at the leaderboard, and say, right, I am going to overtake you by next Friday. It keeps you motivated and keeps you coming back for one more session. Let us ponder the concept of idle progression in games like this. Merge vs Mobs 3 has elements of an idle game. When you are not actively clicking and merging, your army is still fighting. They are still earning coins. You can literally leave the game running in the background while you go make dinner, watch a film, or go to sleep. You come back to your computer a few hours later, and blimey, you are a rich man. Your virtual bank account is overflowing with coins. This idle progression is a double-edged sword. To be fair, on one hand, it is brilliant. It means you can make progress even when you do not have time to actively play. It respects your busy schedule. You feel like you are achieving something while you are doing your real-world chores. It is a lovely feeling to wake up in the morning, check your game, and find a massive pile of treasure waiting for you. It is like Christmas every single day. On the other hand, it can make the active gameplay feel a bit pointless. You think to yourself, why am I sweating my eyes out clicking this button when I can just leave the computer on overnight and get 10 times the reward? It can take away some of the challenge and the satisfaction of active play. It shifts the game from an active test of skill and patience to a passive test of electricity bills and computer endurance. It is a strange trend in modern gaming. This shift toward passive experiences, games that play themselves, games where the main skill is just waiting. It is a bit daft, really, if you step back and think about it. But at the same time, It is incredibly addictive and perfectly suited to our busy, modern lives. We want the reward without the effort. And idle games give us exactly that. Let us look at the design of the user interface. The UI in a Roblox game can make or break the experience. A lot of games have terrible UIs. They are cluttered, confusing, and filled with flashing buttons screaming at you to buy things. It is like walking into a dodgy casino in Las Vegas. It is overwhelming and unpleasant. Merge vs Mobs 3 handles this rather well. Thankfully, the interface is clean, modern, and easy on the eyes. The buttons are large and clearly labeled. You have got your grid in the center, your shop on the left, your upgrades on the right, and your currency displays at the top. Simple, elegant, functional. Even a complete beginner can log in and understand exactly what is going on within 30 seconds. There are no hidden menus or complex subsystems to worry about. The game explains itself through clear visual design. When a merge is possible, the mobs glow slightly or a little arrow appears. When an upgrade is affordable, the button turns green. It is intuitive. It does not require a massive tutorial or a manual to understand. It respects the player's intelligence and allows them to get straight into the fun. This clean design is a massive factor in the game's success. It removes any friction and makes the entry barrier incredibly low. Anyone can play it, from a 5-year-old child to a 90-year-old granddad. It is universal gaming. Let us chat about the micro-strategies of grid optimization. While it looks simple, as your grid fills up, you need a system. If you just spawn mobs randomly, your grid becomes an absolute mess. You won't be able to find the matching pairs. You will have a level 7 monster hiding behind a level 2 zombie. And you will spend 10 minutes hunting for its partner. It is a nightmare, mate. Proper stressful. So, experienced players develop an organizing system. They designate specific areas of the grid for specific levels. For example, the top row is for the absolute highest level monsters, your prize possessions. The middle rows are for the mid-tier creatures that are currently being upgraded. And the bottom row is the spawn zone, where new level 1 grunts arrive from the shop. This creates a proper, functioning production line. Mobs arrive at the bottom, get merged, move up to the middle, get merged again, and finally reach the top row where they join the elite squad. It is beautiful to watch. It is like a well-oiled machine. It shows that even in a silly game about blocky monsters, human beings will naturally create order out of chaos. We love systems. We love organization. It makes our brains feel safe and happy. Let us discuss the different types of damage and attack styles. The mobs in Merge vs Mobs 3 are not all the same. They have unique attack patterns and roles on the battlefield. You have got your melee attackers, like the zombies, orcs, and knights. They charge straight into the enemy's face, swinging their weapons and soaking up damage. They are the frontline shield. They keep the enemies away from your precious ranged units. They are brave, blocky heroes. Then you have your ranged units, like the skeleton archers and futurist snipers. They stay back, launching arrows and laser beams from a safe distance. They have lower health, but their damage output is massive. If they are protected by a strong front line, they can decimate entire armies without taking a single scratch. They are the glass cannons of your army. Next up are the area of effect, or AoE attackers. These are usually the wizards and elemental spirits. Their attacks do not just hit one enemy, they hit a whole area. They unleash massive explosions, blizzards, or chain lightning that damages multiple targets at once. They are brilliant for clearing out large swarms of weak enemies. When a massive wave of small spiders arrives, your AoE units will vaporize them in a single second. It is incredibly satisfying to watch. Finally, you have the support units. These are rarer, special mobs that do not do much damage themselves, but they make everyone else better. They might heal your frontline units, boost the attack speed of your ranged units, or freeze the enemies in place so they cannot move. They add a proper layer of strategy to your army composition. You cannot just rely on raw damage. You need balance. You need a team that works together beautifully. Let us think about the feeling of progression when moving between games in a series. This is Merge vs Mobs 3. It implies that there were 2 games before it. And indeed there were. If you played the original Merge vs Mobs, it was a very simple affair. Small grid, basic models, limited zones. It was a proof of concept. Really, a tiny indie project. Merge vs Mobs 2 expanded on it, adding more features and polishing the graphics. But Merge vs Mobs 3 is the definitive version. It takes everything that worked in the first 2 games, refines it, and multiplies it by 10. It is lovely to see a developer stick with an idea and improve it over time. It is like watching a football player grow from a young academy prospect into a world-class superstar. You appreciate the journey, you see the progress, you remember the old days of the simple grids, and you look at your current massive cyberstation with glowing dragons. And you think, blimey, we have come a long way, haven't we? It gives the game a sense of history and legacy. It feels like a proper franchise. Let us ponder the role of luck in the game. While merging is a deterministic process, 2 level 1s always make a level 2. The spawning system can have elements of chance. In some versions or updates of the game, when you buy a spawner, you do not always get a basic level 1. There is a tiny, cheeky chance that you might high roll and get a level 3 or a level 5 grunt straight away. It is a brilliant surprise. A proper little bonus. This luck element introduces the classic gambling thrill into the gameplay loop. Every time you press that spawn button, you have that tiny hope that you are going to get lucky. Your brain gets a little extra rush of excitement. It keeps the act of buying spawners interesting. It breaks up the monotony of the standard grind. If you press the button 10 times and get 10 level 1s, you feel a bit miffed. But on the 11th click, if a shiny level 5 warrior pops out, you are absolutely chuffed. You forget about the previous 10 boring clicks and you feel like the luckiest man alive. It is brilliant psychology, keeping the player engaged through unpredictable rewards. Let us examine the balance between active play and passive watching. Merge vs Mobs 3 is a game of 2 halves. Half the time, you are actively working, clicking, and managing your grid. Your eyes are scanning, your fingers are moving, you are fully engaged. The other half of the time, you are just watching. You sit back, hands off the keyboard, and watch your army fight the waves. You watch the health bars go down, the numbers pop up, the coins roll in. This balance is what makes the game so relaxing. It is not constantly demanding your attention. It gives you breaks. Active session, passive break, active session, passive break. It is a beautiful rhythm. During the passive breaks, you can check your phone, reply to a message, take a sip of your tea, or just admire your creations. It turns the game into a spectator sport, where you are both the manager and the fan. You get to enjoy the fruits of your labor in real time. You see your strategy paying off on screen. It is an incredibly satisfying dynamic that keeps you hooked for hours without feeling fatigued. Let us discuss the customization options for your avatar and base. Roblox is all about self-expression. Players spend millions of real-world pounds customizing their blocky avatars with outfits, accessories, and animations. Merge vs Mobs 3 allows you to bring that personal style into the game world. Your avatar stands next to your grid, acting as the commander of your army. Other players can see you as they run past. You can flex your rare items, your expensive hats, or your shiny wings. But the customization does not stop at your avatar. You can also unlock skins and cosmetics for your grid and your mobs. You can change the color of your grid lines, add glowing particle effects to your base, or unlock special festive outfits for your troops. Imagine an army of zombies wearing tiny Santa hats, or knights with glowing blue lightsabers instead of swords. It adds a lovely layer of personalization. It makes your base feel like your asterisk base. It separates you from the crowd and allows you to show off your achievements and your personality. It is a fantastic feature that enhances the social aspect of the game. Let us chat about the daily rewards and quests. To keep players coming back day after day, the game utilizes a robust daily reward system. The first time you log in each day, a big shiny wheel pops up. You get a free spin. You can win coins, gems, temporary speed boosts, or even rare mobs. The rewards get better for every consecutive day you log in. If you reach a 7-day streak, you get a proper massive prize, a god-tier chest or a massive bundle of currency. It is a powerful incentive. It creates a daily habit, even if you do not have time for a long gaming session. You still want to log in for 2 minutes just to claim your daily reward and keep your streak alive. It is a clever retention mechanic that works perfectly. On top of daily rewards, you have got quests, daily quests and weekly quests. These are specific challenges that give you extra rewards upon completion. For example, merge 50 mobs, defeat 10 waves, spend 5.000 coins, or defeat a boss. These quests give you a clear focus for your play session. Instead of just grinding aimlessly, you think, right, I need to focus on merging 20 more skeletons to complete my daily quest and get that massive gem bonus. It breaks the gameplay down into manageable chunks and gives you a constant stream of short-term goals. It keeps the game feeling fresh and gives you a regular sense of achievement. Let us ponder the design of the enemy mobs. The bad guys deserve some credit too, mate. They are not just mindless targets. They have fantastic designs that mirror the theme of each zone. In the starting grassland, you fight basic slimes and goblins. They look cute and squishy. They are perfect tutorial enemies, harmless and easy to defeat. But as you move into the tougher zones, the enemies get proper intimidating. In the spooky forest, the ghosts float above the ground, turning translucent and avoiding attacks. The vampires move incredibly fast, rushing your front line before your ranged units can react. The bosses are massive, terrifying creations with glowing red eyes and unique mechanics. For example, a giant necromancer boss that constantly spawns smaller skeletons to protect itself. Or a mechanical spider boss that shoots webs to trap your top-tier units and prevent them from attacking. These mechanics require you to adapt your army. You cannot just use the same strategy for every enemy. You have to think, right, this boss spawns a lot of small minions, so I need to bring more AoE wizards to clear him out. It adds an element of counterplay and tactical depth that keeps the combat engaging. Let us talk about the economic system of the game. Merge vs Mobs 3 has a dual currency system, which is standard for high-quality simulator games. You have got coins, and you have got gems. Coins are the basic currency. You earn them by defeating regular enemies and clearing waves. You use coins to buy basic spawners, unlock early game upgrades, and purchase access to the next zone. Coins flow freely. You are constantly earning thousands, millions, or even billions of them. The numbers scale up rapidly, giving you that lovely feeling of immense wealth. Gems, on the other hand, are the premium currency. They are much harder to come by. You earn them by defeating bosses, completing difficult quests, or reaching milestones on the leaderboards. And, of course, you can buy them with Robux if you are feeling rich. Gems are used for the high-end stuff. Ultra-rare upgrades, legendary spawners, special cosmetic effects, and powerful stat boosts. The economy is structured beautifully, creating a constant tension between your short-term coin spending and your long-term gem saving. You have to balance your budget like a proper accountant. Do I spend my coins now on more level 1s? Or do I save up my gems for that massive multiplier upgrade? It adds a layer of economic management that makes the progression feel substantial and rewarding. Let us analyze the pacing of the updates. The development team behind Merge vs Mobs 3 is incredibly active. They release updates on a regular schedule, usually every single Friday. This regular update schedule is a massive reason why the game stays popular. Players know that every weekend, there will be something new to explore. A new zone, a new set of mobs, a new balance patch, or a special weekend event with double rewards. This creates a brilliant weekly cycle in the community. Thursdays are filled with anticipation and teasers from the developers on Twitter or Discord. Friday is update day, where everyone rushes onto the servers to experience the new content and try to be the first to unlock the new max level mob. The weekends are filled with intense grinding and community interaction. By Monday, the hype cools down a bit, and players spend the week optimizing their setups and preparing for the next update. It is a fantastic rhythm that keeps the game alive and prevents it from becoming stagnant. It shows the benefit of the live service model when executed properly with dedication and care. Let us look at the accessibility of the game. One of the best things about Roblox, and games like Merge vs Mobs 3 in particular, is how accessible they are. The game is completely free to download and play. It runs on almost any device imaginable. You can play it on a high-end gaming PC, a budget laptop, a smartphone, a tablet, an Xbox, or even a VR headset. The controls are simple and adapt perfectly to each platform. On a PC, you use your mouse to click and drag. On a smartphone or tablet, you use intuitive touch controls, dragging the mobs with your finger. It feels completely natural on a touchscreen, almost like a native mobile app. This cross-platform accessibility means you can take the fun with you anywhere you go. You can grind some merges on your PC at home, then log into the same account on your phone while you are sitting on the bus or waiting in line at the post office. Your progress syncs instantly across all devices. It is seamless. It fits perfectly into modern lifestyles, allowing you to turn any spare 5 minutes into a productive gaming session. It removes any barriers to entry and allows a massive, diverse community of players from all over the world to share the experience. Let us ponder the long-term appeal of the Merge genre. Why do we love Merge games so much? What is it about this specific mechanic that is so universally addictive? It taps into a very fundamental aspect of human psychology, our love for order, progress, and growth. Since the dawn of civilization, humans have been building, combining, and upgrading things. We take raw materials, combine them to make tools, combine those tools to make machines, and combine those machines to build societies. It is in our DNA. Merge games take that grand evolutionary process and distill it into a simple, colorful, digital loop that gives instant rewards. You take two simple things, combine them, and get a better thing. There is no risk of failure. There is no complex skill required. It is an absolute guarantee of progress. Every single action you take moves you forward. In a world that can be confusing, stressful, and unpredictable, where hard work does not always guarantee success, a Merge game provides a beautiful, safe haven of absolute certainty. You click, you merge, you succeed. It is an absolute guarantee of satisfaction. It is a comforting escape, a little bubble of perfect logic and progress where you are always winning. And that is a very powerful, beautiful thing, mate. Let us take a detailed look at the Rebirth system and its long-term strategy. As mentioned earlier, Rebirth resets your progress in exchange for a permanent multiplier. But as you progress deeper into the game, Rebirth becomes a complex strategic choice. It is not just about clicking the button the moment it becomes available. You have to time it perfectly. Advanced players look at the Rebirth milestones. For example, your first rebirth gives a 2 times multiplier. Your 5th rebirth gives a 10 times multiplier and unlocks a special rebirth shop. This shop contains exclusive upgrades that you cannot buy with regular coins or gems. It requires a special currency called rebirth tokens, which you only get when you perform a rebirth. This introduces a whole new economy to the endgame. Suddenly, you are not just grinding for coins to clear the next zone. You are grinding for rebirths to unlock powerful endgame perks like permanent speed increases, extra grid slots, or exclusive mythic mobs. It turns the entire game upside down and adds a massive layer of longevity. It shifts the focus from short-term progression to long-term empire building. It is an absolute masterclass in keeping players engaged for months on end. Let us reflect on the aesthetic details of the max-tier mobs. When you finally reach the pinnacle of the Merge tree, the designs are absolutely breathtaking. The developers do not skimp on the visuals for the endgame content. These creatures are huge, dominating the grid and the battlefield. They are covered in glowing neon lines, intricate armor details, and custom particle effects that trail behind them as they move. They do not just walk, they hover, float, or glide majestically. Their attacks are custom animated spectacles. A max-tier cyber dragon does not just breathe fire, it unleashes a massive, blinding beam of plasma energy that tears through the entire enemy lane, leaving a trail of smoke and digital sparks in its wake. The sound effects for these top-tier units are heavy and powerful, with deep mechanical thuds, electrical crackles, and booming explosions that make your speakers rumble. It feels proper epic. It gives you a massive sense of power and accomplishment. You look at this glowing, roaring masterpiece on your screen and you think, yes, this was worth every single click. I am the master of the universe. Let us chat about the social dynamics within the game. While you can play Merge vs Mobs 3 entirely as a solo experience, the multiplayer aspect adds a huge amount of value. You are never alone on your grid. You are surrounded by other players' bases, arranged in a massive circular hub. You can literally walk over to your neighbor's base and look at the grid. You can see what mobs they have unlocked, how they organize their space, and what strategies they are using. It is like looking over the fence into your neighbor's garden. You can admire their beautiful rows of neat roses, or judge their messy heap of weeds. This visibility creates a natural, passive competition. You see a player next to you who has a higher level monster than you, and you think, right, I cannot have that. I need to upgrade my lads immediately. It drives you to play harder. It also allows for inspiration. You might see a clever grid layout that you hadn't thought of, or a unique combination of mobs that looks incredibly efficient. You can learn from others and improve your own setup. It turns the game into a shared learning experience, a community of builders helping and competing with each other in a lovely, peaceful environment. Let us discuss the trading system, which was introduced in a recent update. This was a massive game changer. Let me tell you, it completely transformed the economy and social interaction. The trading system allows players to swap mobs with each other. Got a duplicate level 9 lava golem that you do not need? You can trade it to another player for a level 8 archer that you desperately need to complete a pair. The trading hub is a bustling, chaotic marketplace. The chat is filled with players shouting their offers. Trading Mythic Dragon for 2 Cyber Ninja. Looking for level 10 Wizard. Offering gems. It is a proper digital stock exchange. It requires a whole new set of skills, negotiation, market awareness, and value estimation. You have to learn the meta value of each mob. A rare event mob from 3 months ago might be worth 10 standard max tier monsters to a collector. It introduces a brilliant player-driven economy where wealth is not just measured by your coin count, but by your inventory value and your trading skills. It adds a massive amount of depth and interaction, making the game feel alive and dynamic. Let us ponder the role of nostalgia in games like this. For many older players, the blocky, low-poly aesthetic of Roblox reminds them of early 3D video games from the late 90s and early 2000s. It brings back fond memories of the original PlayStation, the Nintendo 64, or early PC gaming. The simple shapes, the bright colors, the lack of realistic textures, it has a beautiful, retro charm. This nostalgia creates a warm, comfortable feeling. It feels safe and familiar. In an era where mainstream video games are becoming incredibly complex, hyper-realistic, and often stressful, there is a deep comfort in returning to a simpler aesthetic. Merge vs Mobs 3 captures that retro essence perfectly, while combining it with modern, addictive progression mechanics. It is the best of both worlds. A nostalgic visual wrapper around a modern, finely tuned gameplay loop. It explains why so many adults find themselves secretly playing Roblox games late at night when they should be sleeping. It is a guilty pleasure, a digital time machine that takes them back to a simpler time when gaming was just about pure fun and imagination. Let us talk about the balance adjustments and patch notes. The developers are constantly tuning the game to ensure fairness and maintain excitement. Every update comes with a detailed list of patch notes. Some mobs get buffed, meaning their damage or health is increased. Other mobs get nerfed, meaning their stats are reduced because they were too powerful and ruining the balance. Following these patch notes is a key part of the advanced gameplay strategy. The community discusses the changes intensely on Discord. Did you see the wizard nerf? Absolute shambles. Wow, the skeleton archers got a huge buff. They are meta now. You have to constantly adapt your army to the changing meta. A strategy that worked perfectly last week might be completely useless this week after a balance patch. It keeps you on your toes. It prevents the game from becoming solved or boring. It requires you to experiment with different combinations and discover new synergies. It shows that the game is a living, evolving entity, carefully managed by a team that is dedicated to maintaining a fair and competitive environment. Let us look at the visual clarity during intense combat. As your army grows and the enemy waves become massive, the battlefield can become incredibly crowded. You have got dozens of your own high-level units launching colorful, flashing special attacks, while hundreds of enemies are swarming forward, exploding into particle effects upon death. It is a proper visual assault, an absolute explosion of color and movement. Maintaining visual clarity in these situations is a massive challenge for game designers. If the screen becomes a complete mess of bright lights, the player loses track of what is happening. They cannot tell if they are winning or losing. Merge vs Mobs 3 handles this rather well through clever use of color coding and UI elements. Health bars are bright and clearly visible above the chaos. Green for your lads and red for the bad guys. Special abilities have distinct visual shapes and colors, like a massive blue circle for a blizzard or a bright yellow line for a laser strike. This allows your brain to quickly process the chaos and understand the state of the battle. Even when there are hundreds of things happening simultaneously, it is an impressive technical feat that ensures the combat remains readable, exciting, and satisfying to watch, rather than just a confusing headache. Let us ponder the future of Merge vs Mobs 3. Where does the game go from here? The developers have built a massive, successful foundation. The player count is high, the community is passionate, and the update loop is working perfectly. But they cannot just keep adding zones forever. Eventually, the numbers will get too big, the file sizes will get too large, and the game will become bloated. To maintain long-term success, they will eventually need to introduce new core mechanics. Perhaps a player versus player, PvP, arena, where you can send your custom army to fight against another player's army in real time. Imagine the strategic depth of a PvP merge arena. Choosing your units to counter your opponent's lineup, managing your grid under pressure, and competing for slots on a global PvP leaderboard. That would be absolutely proper mental. Let me tell you, it would take the game to a whole new level of competitiveness and longevity. Another option is a cooperative raid mode, where multiple players combine their armies to take down a massive, world boss enemy with billions of health points. The possibilities are endless, and it will be fascinating to see how the development team guides their creation in the coming years. Let us summarize the overall experience of diving into Merge vs Mobs 3. It is a journey that starts with a tiny, green level 1 zombie on a blank grid and takes you across the cosmos, leading an army of cybernetic dragons and magical wizards. It is a game that combines the absolute simplicity of a mobile clicker with the deep, long-term progression of a tycoon and the community spirit of a massive multiplayer online world. It is a game that is easy to pick up, impossible to put down, and filled with a constant stream of satisfying rewards, pops, and chimes. It is high-quality digital entertainment, crafted with care, passion, and a deep understanding of what makes our brains tick. It is a proper triumph of indie game design on the Roblox platform. Whether you want to sweat the leaderboards, chat with friends, or just turn your brain off and watch numbers grow while sipping a warm cuppa on a rainy afternoon, Merge vs Mobs 3 is an absolute gem of a game that deserves a spot in your gaming rotation. Go give it a look, mate, you won't regret it. Right then, let us keep this momentum going. Let us talk about the specific UI elements that make the game feel so slick. When you open the shop, there is a smooth animation. The menu slides in from the side, crisp and clean. The icons for the spawners are beautifully drawn, showing a tiny preview of the creature you are about to buy. The text is crisp, clear, and easy to read, displaying the price in large, bold numbers. There is no confusion. You know exactly what you are buying and how much it costs. When you purchase a spawner, it does not just appear instantly on the grid with a boring click. Oh no, there is a tiny animation. A little wooden crate drops from the sky onto the selected square. It shakes for a fraction of a second, and then it bursts open with a tiny explosion of confetti and a joyful pop sound, revealing your new mob. It is a small detail, but it adds a massive amount of juice and polish to the action. It makes the act of buying spawners feel like opening a tiny birthday present every single time. It is that extra level of care and attention to detail that elevates Merge-V's mobs 3 above the sea of cheap, lazy simulators on the platform. It shows that the developers understand the importance of game feel, making basic actions feel inherently satisfying to perform. Let us look at the settings menu, which is often ignored in game reviews but is incredibly important for a smooth experience. The developers have included a brilliant set of optimization options. If you are playing on an older smartphone or a budget laptop that is struggling to handle the chaos, you can open the settings and turn off certain visual effects. You can hide other players' bases, disable enemy death particles, turn off the floating damage numbers, or lower the overall graphics quality. This level of customization ensures that the game remains playable and smooth for everyone, regardless of their hardware. It shows a wonderful commitment to accessibility. The developers want everyone to join the fun, not just the rich kids with expensive gaming rigs. They have optimized the code and provided the tools to ensure a smooth, stable frame rate in almost any situation. It is a proper professional touch that deserves high praise. Let us chat about the music in more detail. As mentioned before, the background music is a cheerful, repetitive loop, but as you progress through the zones, the tracks change, and they are surprisingly well composed. The grassland music is a light, acoustic tune with cheerful flutes and acoustic guitars, creating a relaxed, peaceful atmosphere. The desert music incorporates exotic instruments and mysterious rhythms, evoking the feeling of a grand adventure across the sun-drenched sands. The Ice Kingdom music features twinkling chimes, elegant violins, and a grand, orchestral arrangement that feels vast, cold, and majestic. Each track is tailored perfectly to its environment. They are designed to be catchy but not overly intrusive, providing a pleasant auditory backdrop to your grinding sessions. The music composer for this game has done an absolute cracking job, creating melodies that stay in your head for days. It adds a massive layer of production value and immersive charm to the entire experience. Let us analyze the behavior of the mobs when they are idle on the grid. They do not just stand there like lifeless blocks. No, siree. They have got little idle animations that give them a wonderful sense of personality. The zombies shuffle their feet and sway from side to side. The skeleton warriors polish their tiny swords or adjust their shields. The wizards float gently up and down, their robes billowing in an invisible wind. The dragons turn their heads, blink their massive eyes, and exhale tiny puffs of smoke. These small visual details make your grid feel alive. It looks like a bustling little village or a lively barracks filled with unique characters, rather than just a cold, static spreadsheet of numbers. You can just sit there and watch your mobs interact with their space. And it is incredibly charming. It shows that the creators didn't just view these mobs as tools for earning currency, they viewed them as characters, giving them care, attention, and life. It is that artistic dedication that gives the game its unique soul and makes it so delightful to spend time in. Let us look at the prestige system in more depth. Rebirth is just the first tier of the endgame progression. Once you reach a certain number of rebirths, say 50, you unlock the Super Rebirth, or Ascension, mechanic. This is the ultimate reset. It takes away your rebirth multipliers, your rebirth tokens, and your place on the regular leaderboards. It strips you back down to an absolute blank slate, even cleaner than a regular rebirth. But the rewards for ascending are absolutely cosmic. You get ascension points, which can be spent in the ascension tree. This is a massive, complex skill tree that provides permanent, game-changing perks. We are talking about things like double grid space, unlock a 10th tier of merges, automate all trading, or gain a permanent 10 times luck boost to all spawners. It is a massive long-term progression system designed for the absolute elite players, the sweat lords who have committed months of their lives to the game. It ensures that even the most dedicated players always have a massive peak to climb. a distant goal to strive for. It gives the game an almost infinite lifespan, turning it from a casual weekly distraction into a grand, long-term hobby. Let us contemplate the balance between cooperation and competition in the community. Merge vs Mobs 3 hits a lovely sweet spot. It is not a toxic, competitive environment where players are constantly trying to ruin each other's progress or steal their loot. There is no griefing, no player killing, no stealing. Your grid is your castle, completely safe and secure from outside interference. This creates a relaxed, peaceful atmosphere where you can play at your own pace without stress. At the same time, the game introduces healthy competition through the leaderboards, trading, and visual flexing. You see other players' achievements, and it motivates you to improve. But it never feels malicious or frustrating. It is a supportive community where players often help each other out, sharing advice in the chat, offering fair trades, or celebrating each other's rare unlocks. It is a beautiful social dynamic, creating a friendly, welcoming environment that is perfect for players of all ages. It shows that video games do not need toxicity or intense conflict to be engaging. Cooperation and community spirit can be just as powerful in driving engagement and creating long-term loyalty. Let us examine the mechanical feedback of the battle system. When you send your army into the arena, the combat is automated, but the feedback is incredibly punchy. When a knight strikes an enemy, there is a visible flash, a satisfying thud sound effect, and a large number pops up displaying the damage dealt. If it is a critical hit, the number is larger, colored bright red, and shakes slightly. When an enemy dies, it explodes into a shower of blocky pieces that bounce across the floor before fading away, accompanied by a delightful coin chiming sound. This physical feedback makes the combat feel impactful and rewarding to watch. You feel the power of your army through the screen. You see the immediate result of your hard work and strategic merges. It is not just numbers changing on a screen, it is a physical, dynamic battle that feels alive and reactive. This punchy feedback is crucial for maintaining excitement during the long grinding sessions, ensuring that watching your army fight never becomes boring or monotonous. It is an absolute masterclass in kinetic game design. Let us chat about the daily routine of a dedicated player. You wake up, grab a cup of tea, and boot up your computer. First thing you do is check your idle earnings from overnight. Blimey, a massive pile of coins is waiting for you. You claim it with a satisfying click. Next, you spin the daily wheel, hoping for a rare luck boost. You get a double speed coin multiplier for 1 hour. Splendid. The clock is ticking, so you have to maximize this boost. You spend the next 60 minutes in a state of absolute focus. You spam the spawn button, fill the grid, and merge like an absolute demon. Your fingers are flying across the mouse. Pop, 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 pop. You upgrade your army, push through 3 difficult boss waves, and unlock access to the next zone. The coin boost ends, and you take a breath. Sit back, and admire your progress. You have had a highly productive morning. Your army is stronger, your wallet is fat, and you are well on your way to your next rebirth milestone. It is a satisfying, structured routine that gives a lovely sense of accomplishment to start your day. It shows how the game integrates seamlessly into your daily life, providing a reliable source of fun and progress. Let us ponder the artistic direction of the game's promotional material and thumbnails. The developers put a massive amount of effort into their marketing, creating bright, eye-catching thumbnails that stand out on the crowded Roblox Discover page. The thumbnails feature high-quality 3D renders of the top-tier mobs, looking epic and powerful, surrounded by explosions and glowing neon lights. They use bold, colorful text and clear branding that makes the game instantly recognizable. This professional marketing is crucial for attracting new players in the highly competitive Roblox ecosystem. It promises an epic, high-quality experience, and thankfully, the actual game delivers on that promise. The art style of the promotional material matches the game perfectly, creating a cohesive, professional brand that builds trust and excitement within the community. It shows that the development team operates like a proper, professional studio, valuing presentation and marketing just as much as code and mechanics. Let us look at the history of updates and how the game has evolved since its launch. When Merge vs Mobs 3 first released, it was a relatively small game, with only 3 zones and a basic merge tree. But the developers had a grand vision. Over the past year, they have released over 50 updates, consistently adding content and expanding the scope of the project. They added the Spooky Forest, the Ice Kingdom, the Volcanic Wasteland, and the Space Station. They introduced the trading system, the daily quests, the leaderboards, and the Ascension mechanic. The game today is unrecognizable compared to its launch version. It is 10 times larger, infinitely deeper, and vastly more polished. This history of consistent growth shows the power of the games as a service model when done right. It transforms a small, simple project into a massive, enduring world that keeps players engaged for years. It is a testament to the dedication, hard work, and long-term vision of the development team, who have turned Merge vs Mobs 3 into one of the definitive simulator experiences on the platform. Let us chat about the layout of the main hub area. The game features a beautiful, central plaza where all players gather. In the center is the giant leaderboard, glowing with neon lights and displaying the top players' achievements. Surrounding the plaza are the individual player bases, arranged in a massive circle. This circular layout is a brilliant piece of design. It means that whenever you are working on your grid, you can look out across the plaza and see everyone else. You see other players running around, checking the leaderboard, trading with each other, or showing off their rare avatars. It makes the game feel incredibly alive and social. You do not feel isolated in your own private instance. You are part of a bustling, active town center. The hub also contains the main shops, the quest board, and the portal to the battle arena, all arranged logically and within easy walking distance. It is a clean, intuitive layout that makes navigation a breeze, eliminating any frustrating travel time and keeping the focus firmly on the core gameplay loop. Let us contemplate the role of achievements and badges. Merge vs Mobs 3 features a robust achievement system, with dozens of unique badges to unlock. You get badges for basic milestones, like First Merge, Reach Level 10, or Defeat First Boss. But there are also rare, secret badges hidden throughout the game that require exploration and clever thinking. For example, a badge for finding a hidden Easter egg model behind a rock in the desert zone, or a badge for completing a specific wave with an army of only level 1 zombies. These badges are displayed proudly on your Roblox profile, acting as medals of honor that show off your skills and dedication to the wider world. They add a brilliant layer of extra content for the completionist players, the ones who want to unlock absolutely everything and solve every mystery. It gives you a reason to explore the zones carefully, looking into every corner and experimenting with different mechanics, enhancing the sense of discovery and adventure. Let us examine the economic balance between free-to-play players and paying players in more detail. While the game passes offer massive advantages, the developers have implemented brilliant catch-up mechanics for free-to-play users. For example, the free daily wheel and the quest rewards give a substantial amount of premium gems, allowing patient players to unlock high-tier upgrades without spending a single penny. The trading system also allows free-to-play players to acquire rare Game Pass mobs by trading their hard-earned, high-level standard mobs to wealthy players who do not have the patience to grind them out manually. It is a beautiful, symbiotic relationship. The paying players get convenience and instant gratification, while the free-to-play players get access to premium content through hard work and trading savvy. This ensures that the game remains fair and enjoyable for everyone, maintaining a healthy, balanced community where skill, patience, and effort are still valued and respected. It is a shining example of how to implement monetization in a way that supports, rather than destroys, the player experience. Let us talk about the visual design of the projectiles. Ranged units and wizards launch a fantastic variety of projectiles across the battlefield. The archers shoot classic arrows that arc through the air beautifully, sticking into the ground or the enemy models upon impact. The futurist snipers fire high-speed neon laser beams that cut through the darkness with a sharp zapping sound. The wizards launch swirling orbs of magical energy, glowing purple and trailing stardust behind them. The elementals throw massive blocks of ice, burning meteors, or crackling chain lightning bolts that jump between targets. These projectiles look fantastic, adding a massive amount of dynamic movement and visual excitement to the combat. You can track the trajectory of each attack, seeing exactly where the damage is coming from and how your units are performing. It adds a lovely layer of mechanical clarity and cinematic spectacle, turning every battle into a thrilling light show that is an absolute joy to watch. Let us ponder the feeling of community pride when a server milestone is achieved. In some updates, the developers introduce global server goals, where all players on a server must contribute resources to unlock a temporary global bonus. For example, a massive golden cauldron in the center of the plaza that requires players to throw in 1 billion total coins to trigger a double luck event for the next 30 minutes. When a server goal is active, the atmosphere becomes electric. Everyone stops focusing purely on their own grid and starts working together. The chat is filled with coordination and excitement. We are at 80%. Guys, keep throwing in those coins. Almost there, lads. Let us go. When the goal is finally reached, a massive cheer goes up in the chat. Fireworks explode across the sky, and every single player on the server receives the bonus. It is a beautiful moment of shared triumph and cooperation. It breaks down the individual barriers and turns the server into a proper, unified team, creating unforgettable memories of community spirit and shared joy. Let us reflect on the design of the boss arenas. When you face a boss, your army is transported to a special, dedicated arena that matches the theme of the current zone but looks far more epic and dramatic. The Grassland Boss Arena is a massive, ancient stone coliseum, surrounded by cheering crowd models and roaring torches. The Desert Boss Arena is the interior of a giant, golden pyramid, with ancient hieroglyphs glowing on the walls and treasures piled high in the corners. The Space Station Boss Arena is a fragile observation deck overlooking a massive, swirling black hole that distorts the light and stars in the background. These custom arenas make the boss fights feel like monumental events. They elevate the stakes and create a sense of scale and drama that makes the victory feel incredibly profound. You are not just fighting a big grunt in a regular room. You are fighting a mythic beast in a legendary arena at the edge of the universe. It is spectacular world building that enhances the narrative weight of your progression. Let us look at the design of the standard grunts in the space zone. They are a masterclass in sci-fi design, Roblox style. You fight alien xenomorphs with glowing neon saliva, rogue security drones that hover and blink red lights, and cybernetic space pirates with metallic arms and laser pistols. Their animations are mechanical and precise, separating them visually from the organic, fluid movements of the fantasy monsters in the earlier zones. When they attack, they emit electronic bleeps, whirs, and laser zaps that completely change the soundscape of the combat. It shows an incredible attention to thematic consistency. The developers didn't just change the models, they changed the animations, the sounds, and the behaviors to fit the sci-fi setting perfectly. It makes the Space Zone feel like an entirely new game, a thrilling sequel wrapped inside the main project, rewarding your long journey with a fresh, spectacular experience. Let us chat about the physical layout of the grid options. As you upgrade your base, you can expand your grid from a simple 3x3 square into a massive 6x6 grid with 36 individual slots. Managing a grid of that size is a proper logistical challenge. It requires an incredible amount of scanning and movement. To help with this, the developers have included brilliant quality of life features. For example, a button that automatically sorts your grid, arrangement your mobs by level instantly with a single click. This is an absolute lifesaver. Lads, let me tell you, it eliminates the tedious manual sorting and allows you to focus on the fun part, deciding which top-tier units to create next. Another feature is the Mass Spawn button, which allows you to buy 10 spawners at once if you have enough coins, filling your grid instantly and skipping the tedious individual clicking. These quality of life improvements show that the developers respect the player's time, constantly refining the interface to remove annoyance and maximize enjoyment. Let us ponder the role of nostalgia for mobile gaming. Many players grew up playing Claw.